Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, I swear, I love the fact that you choose to spend your time with me. That is not taken for granted. I am, I'm going to jump right into this because I just had a moment that was very, very powerful of me. A very strong reminder of it's not about you. Okay, so let me explain. So, right now, I just got finished. I was in the middle of making breakfast, and I get a call from a friend of mine, and she's going through some things. But before I had even answered the phone, I was like, I don't know if I have the right moment to talk right now. I'm in the middle of cooking. Um, I'll call her back. But in that moment, it was like, no, answer the phone. And I'm so glad I did. So I answered the phone. She proceeds to talk, and she was like, yo, I just really needed to speak to someone. I really needed to speak to you um, about some things that have been going on. And do you have a second? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. She didn't need to know that I was in the middle of making food because I didn't want her to, some people begin to feel guilty and they're like, oh, well, I'll call you back, blah, 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 blah. You're busy. No, no, no. I could tell that she needed me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be of service right now. And I could tell she needed it, but I didn't know that I was going to receive a lesson in this. So she proceeds to tell me what she's going through, the situation, and it was something that she had to let go of. But God was showing out and showing up within the conversation. And as God was showing up through me, I was able to remind her of where she is and how she's on track and how to not let that particular situation burden her, distract her from where God has taken her. He is elevating her, um, getting her to a new place within her career. And I was like, God was number one, reminding me of who she is and whose she is. And the other factor of you're already equipped to handle all of this. And this is God reminding you. This is Source reminding you that you're already equipped and why he removed these certain people out of your life because he knew that you weren't going to be able to because your heart is so big. All of these different things. I don't want to go all the way into the scenario, but the main thing after I get finished talking with her is that I'm reflecting over the conversation and I'll go, you know what? Sometimes people are connected with you and connecting with you because of the God in you. She needed to speak to me for whatever reason, but God showed up. She needed to speak to the God in me in that moment. And at that moment, it wasn't about me. It was not about me cooking. It wasn't about me making my breakfast. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about me. It was about her receiving the God in me, the voice of God through me to her. And at the end of the conversation, we prayed, and um, I was able to assist in empowering her. But this reminder of that it's not about me. This is also a mindset that I have been trying my best to put into practice. And as an artist, as a creative, um, I always want my work to have meaning. I always want even the way that I live my life to have meaning, to have intention, because we are all walking pieces and works of art. Every little paint stroke, canvas choice, color palette, all of it. We are all works of art. We are all complex and beautiful and in our own way. And we all have something to connect with people, to make them smile, to have others see themselves within us. And so it reminded me of yesterday. Yesterday, I'm at work. I work in memory care, and yesterday, most of the time, not even gonna lie, when families come in, the buildings tend to, they show out a little bit. You know how it is when corporate comes, everybody puts on, folks that don't usually wear three-piece suits, they put on their three-piece suits. People that may not have their desk clean, all of a sudden they're tip top. And, we all work in places like this. Everything has to be in order. And so when families come, it's not like it's a show, but everybody works to make sure that the families are at least confident in the fact that they chose to place their loved ones here. But yesterday, we've had a task with our lower functioning residents versus our higher functioning residents. So I had the higher functioning residents all set up in the TV lounge doing some things. And then one of the care managers came over and was like, "Hey, we need something to do with our lower functioning." And at that point, I was a little tired. Not gonna being fully transparent. I was a little tired, and I was like, "Ooh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna work this out?" Because I thought down that way, and I took advantage of the situation. I thought the care managers had it kind of in play, and some family members were there, and what have you. But I just didn't even have the energy to even put on just a little bit. But I'm always my pleasant self. Uh, so I walked down to the section where everybody was there, and I was like, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden, I guess it was just a state of mind that I was in. I connected to these residents in a different way. And I tell you, I've been struggling in this position only because I've been, because it takes so much energy, whether or not I want to stay in this position. But I recently came from another community where I was mentoring, and I love to mentor. I love everything about mentoring. I love, like I said in the Fear podcast, that I love when I'm able to help people achieve what they thought was impossible. And so the mentorship, me being a mentor, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But I was at a community that I haven't been at in a very long time. And I walked in, and that community just embraced me. The residents remembered who I was because, I was a little scared that they may potentially not even remember me, but they remembered me. And it just did something to my heart. Hold that thought in your head because I'm going to come back to that. Going back to the scenario from yesterday, so I look at all the residents and I'm connecting and I'm seeing something is they need distraction. So I start having conversation, talk to one resident, then talk to another. And then we kind of out of nowhere kind of formed a little group and we were all talking. And then I was like, yeah, they need something to uplift them. And then it wasn't until this one resident was like, I looked at her and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "No, I'm not okay." She was like, "My mouth hurts and I'm just not feeling too good." And so in my heart, I just wanted to lift her up. I just wanted to lift her up. She felt so, I could feel her. I could feel her. And so I was like, we need some music. So I have a little karaoke playlist on YouTube that I put together, found some songs, and currently it's Elvis week. By the time you hear this, it probably won't be Elvis week, but we started off with some Elvis songs. And one of the residents that was next to me, not the one that was saying that she was down, but she usually has a hard time connecting. She was overjoyed. And then she looks at me and she goes, "You just make everyone happy." When I tell you in that moment, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. And in that moment, I said to myself, I was like, this, God, thank you. You reminded me that number one, it's not about me. Again, you reminded me that it's not about me. It is about these residents that are struggling, trying to just figure out, trying to keep ground of where they are mentally within a day. And a little distraction goes a long way. And oh gosh, I can feel that thing in my spirit right now. Woo! That a little distraction goes a long way. A little uplift goes a long way. And we start singing. She starts dancing. The other resident that said she was down got her to smile, got her to rock a little bit and dance. And then the next thing you know, all the residents that were over in the TV lounge start migrating to where we are, and everybody's there. And then all of a sudden, I could see the families were there because they weren't even in my mind at that time. It was only about the residents, and we're having such a good time. We're singing, we're dancing, we're doing choreography, and all of these different things. It was absolutely magical, absolutely magical, to the point where one of the family members, she calls up her sister because the resident, her mother, was like, we need to call my other daughter and tell them how it's such a good time we're having. And so the resident's family member, the daughter, brings me over and she was like, yeah, can you speak to my sister? My mom really wants you to share. She made me call my sister in order to let her know about what a good time she was having. By this point, I am sweating. I am putting on a mini show for these residents, as I do, but this time it was just a little different. And the other sister that was on the phone, she was just so happy that her mom was happy. And I could tell that that uplifted her. And then afterwards, I was over, setting up and washing my hands and washing, making sure the counters and stuff were clean because they were getting ready for dinner. And the daughter of that particular resident comes over to me and she goes, can I just give you a hug? She was like, what you do here is amazing. And she was like, and this isn't easy work. And she was like, I just want to give you a hug. And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. I was like, I'm wet. She was like, I don't even care. She was like, thank you for just making my mother happy. And I said, she's a gem and she deserves happiness just like everybody else. And the daughter just kind of looked at me. And again, I didn't know what that was in that moment until today as I got off the phone with my friend. And I'm going, it's not about you. To bring this into a creative standpoint, not that any of those things were not creative because they definitely are, it's not about you. Your art is here for others. We are in service as creatives, as artists. And the moment that it becomes about us is the moment that your work isn't pure anymore. And I feel that thing in my spirit so hard right now. It's not. It is not about us. Sometimes people don't even know what they're seeking when they come to you. Sometimes it is the God in you, and that is the closest thing that they can connect to, that can have them in alignment with just light and love and purity. My friend today, I know that what she was seeking God. She wasn't seeking me. But she knows that it flows. It flows as she's working on her own flow. She understands that I have a different type of flow that I can hear, I can channel. You know what I mean? And so for her, I know that that's what she was seeking. And through our art, man, oh my God, I feel this. Through our art, it is about making people feel. Remember, I said about the feeling. People are not going to. There was a post I saw not too long ago, and that I was just talking about too, about where people may not remember all of what you did for them or how you may have whatever, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Music and art and dance and business, construction, all of these things that are creative, it's about feeling. It's about feeling. It's not about us. It's about you capturing your feelings and sharing that as authentically with people as possible. It is not about us. It is about the art. It is about us channeling something higher and allowing it to move through us, to share it with others so that they can feel something different, so they too can be enchanted, be inspired, be moved, be changed, be uplifted, be revived. And sometimes people, again, they seek us out because they're not looking for anything that we're doing. They're looking for how we make them feel. But if you're connected to a higher source, if you're connected to that thing that is, they're connecting to that power, they're connecting to that magic, they're connecting to that source energy. And they may not even know how to describe it. And if you're a creative that you've received that statement of, wow, there is just something about you. There's just something about you. You know what that something is? That something is source. And you need to hold that with pride that you have the capability and the gift to allow that channeling to happen so people can experience source through you. Because that shit is amazing. And it's so rewarding. I think about yesterday, man, all of those residents, like it was nothing but God. And I tell you, there are some that I have that my heart goes out to them because they struggle in their mind so hard. And in that moment, they had no struggle. All they could experience was God in me, and it was powerful. It is not about us. It's not about us. It never has been. We have to align ourselves with Source and allow a guiding to happen. The things we want are the things that God wants. We need to align ourselves with it and we need to move accordingly. We have so much to give to a planet that is suffering, that is lost, that is confused, that is hurting. And us as creators, we have such a gift and such a responsibility. We are what magic looks like. We are celestial energy. We are cosmic, okay? And we need to take that and we need to understand it and we need to begin to think like it, talk like it, walk like it, hear like it, speak like it. Oh my God. I'm going to end this here because I'm a complete mess. Oh my God. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to make me a part of your day, to make this a part of your day, because you didn't have to. And I really just hope you receive something out of this. Remember to follow your art and Allow people to see the God in you. Allow people to see the God in you. Whew, I'm out. Be a blessing, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into Cosmic Radio. Your presence here means the universe to us. If you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, please leave us a 5-star review. And if you feel inspired, share this episode with a fellow creative. Let's build this cosmic community one episode at a time. And now, I close with this. It only takes one decision to raise your frequency. Ask yourself, who do I choose to be? Oh, and one last thing. Follow your art. Yours in shadows and in starlight. LH.
Transmission complete. Signal disengaged.